Welcome, everybody. Again, this is episode, I think, number 28. I could be wrong, of the Vinyl Community Guncles. And, we just always have so much fun on here talking about music. And, with you, too, be sure to comment. We always appreciate the comments. And, of course, the likes and thumbs up and all that good stuff. This time we started a new segment called Tops and Bottoms. We stole the idea from the As It Should Be channel. Richard does this, too, on his live streams. A lot of people do this, actually, where they just take a year and talk about their favorite and least favorite music from that year. Either, and we do it however us individually want to do it, whether we want to do singles or want to do albums or concerts or, whatever. Record label designs, whatever we come up with. Welcome, everyone. I am Robert Fitton, along with Richard from Calvin Wazoo, Mike from Hubtunes, and Craig from Craig's Vinyl Plethora. Richard, the man who last episode said that Stevie Wonder was stupid. Welcome, everyone.
I did not say that.
I will insert that video right here. Pull out the receipts.
I said that they didn't know what they were dealing with.
Oh, okay. I thought the word stupid was used. I must have been dreaming.
Maybe I did say stupid.
Yes.
I don't know.
You were dreaming.
So our tops and
Who
bottoms,
knows?
we picked the year out of the hat. We do our tops and bottoms. We picked last time the year 1983. Well, oh, by the way, we'll also have an album review of the Sunday's Static and Silence coming up after this. 1983 was a very special year for me. Well, who's first?
I'm first.
Great. Go right ahead.
All right. So it's my time. I have some honorable mentions. I have 23 of them. Okay. So I will hoot and holler or whatever.
Are these tops?
These are just honorable mentions. I will tell you the top 5 after I tell you my
Well, obviously, if they're honorable mentions, then they're good.
They're ones that I really enjoyed. 83 was a really good year in music.
Yes, it was.
All right, so Cocktail Twins with Peppermint Pig, Madness, Wings of a Dove, The Assembly, Never Never, Toy Dolls, Nellie the Elephant, Off to See the Circus, come on. New Order Confusion, Wham, Bad Boys Stick Together, because boys like you are bad through and through. Olivia Newton-John, Heart Attack, You're Giving Me a Heart Attack. Stephen Tintin, Duffy Kiss Me, The Cure, Love Cats, Yazoo's Nobody's Diary, Eurythmics, Right by Your Side, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Save the Overtime for Me. Hazy Fantasy, Shiny Shiny, The Smiths, This Charming Man, Public Image Limited, Pill, This Is Not a Love Song. Eartha Kitt, Where Is My Man? I Don't Want to Be Alone. Where Is My Baby? I Don't Want to Be Alone. Where Is My Man? It was her disco dance hit. So good. OXO, or OXO, with Whirly Girl. Culture Club, Time Clock of My Heart. New Order, The Perfect Kiss, John Denver and Emmylou Harris with Wild Montana Skies, Kenny and Dolly, Islands in the Streams, Thompson Twins, We Are Detective, Gwen Guthrie with Hopscotch, y'all, and Michael Jackson's Wanna Be Starting Something. So those are my honorable mentions.
Wow.
Huh. I hardly heard of any of those.
I've got that band OXO. That lead singer has a tragic life these days, or did. If he's still around. Somebody should look that up at one time.
I showed his 45, and I think you mentioned that in that video that I showed the 45, and I looked it up, and I couldn't find anything tragic about the guy.
I saw it on a video, and they're interviewing his wife and stuff, so it must have been real.
Maybe that was no.
Is that the guy that lives in his basement?
It's a documentary. It's a documentary. I saw that.
He lives in his basement, and he's a total recluse now because he couldn't deal with being a one-hit wonder. He wants to go back to the 1983, and it really made him fall apart that he couldn't keep that fame going. So he retreated to his basement, and he will not come up from the basement for anything. And I mean anything, and let's just say there's no plumbing in the basement.
Yeah.
So the wife has to go down and retrieve coffee cans.
She's nuts. She's
for going down and dealing with that, I would think.
You had to say that?
She's nuttier than him. She's absolutely crazy.
Really?
She thinks.
I don't remember that. I just remember I just remember the no plumbing thing and
Wow.
That says nuts right there to me.
Yeah.
And none of us are qualified physicians, and we are saying nuts in a layman
Euphemistic way.
layman
Like
term.
Spiro with that.
That I don't know what
Like
the name of that
insane.
documentary is.
I'm gonna have to look this
A
up.
disclaimer, that's
It's
what I'm saying.
crazy.
I'm gonna have to
It's a
look
train
this up.
wreck. The entire documentary is an absolute train wreck. They're both.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great song. Sorry he didn't get famous, but
And I knew about 4 of those that Craig mentioned.
I knew
it was
about
like
2 or
maybe
3,
three
yeah.
for me. I mean, I knew the artists. But
I knew
the
Islands in the
songs?
Stream.
Yeah.
well, of course you knew that.
So I want to listen to some of those. I'll have to play this when I play this back. I'm going to write those down and listen to them.
Yeah, because none of those were in the top 100 list that I went through.
Yeah, they're all I did not look at really like top 100. I looked at songs that came out as singles.
Okay.
They're in the top 10 of Craig's heart.
Yes. Okay, so let's go with my top 5. My
The
number
only
5 is-
chart is Craig's
Yeah,
heart.
it's the only chart. Yeah. My number 5 is a tie. I think I had a tie last time.
So you have
Oh yeah, we're supposed to. They grab a tie when they do
Oh
that.
yeah,
on the
where's my?
yeah.
I got a tie back there.
We don't want to
Maybe
rip off
yours-
absolutely
Yeah, we don't
everything,
wanna-
though.
everything.
Let's have them leave something for themselves.
So number 5, Dolly Parton with
We could
Potential
use this
New
kind of tie.
Boyfriend. Oh, that's not a tie.
You can tie with it.
But, yeah. Hmm.
And just
Okay,
so everyone
so-
knows, Craig has the color vinyl 12-inch single for Potential
do.
New Boyfriend. I
I-
only have
I
the
do.
modest black vinyl 12-inch
Yes,
single.
and it's the promotional copy too.
Yes.
Just little. So tied with Dolly Parton's Potential New Boyfriend is Berlin with Sex because I'm a bitch and I'm a whore and I'm a little girl. We make love together. I love that song so much. It is so good.
That is
At
a good
number
song.
4.
First time I ever heard the expression "bye"
Really?
was in that song. Yes, I didn't really know what they meant.
Yeah, it was probably the first time I heard it too, and probably
I got a magazine called Music Video Magazine at I believe it was Shop and Save when I was 11 years old, and it showed, because I didn't have MTV at the time, and I thought it would show like stills from. It talked all about music videos, and because it was called Music Video Magazine. Well, there was a section in there that my sister who bought it for me didn't see, that was called Too Hot for MTV. And it showed stills of videos that were too hot for MTV, and that was one of them. And it had the whole lyric thing in it. Yeah.
Wow.
And they looked like somebody actually took a camera and took pictures of a TV screen. But
probably
I still
did.
have it somewhere.
Probably did, yeah. Wow.
All right, number 4, Hoodoo Gurus with My Girl. I love my girl so much, but she don't love me
I
anymore.
remember that. God, I forgot about that.
Number 3, Joan Armatradin with Drop the Pilot. I love me.
That's good. That's good.
Drop the Pilot.
Yeah.
Try my balloon. Drop the monkey. Smell my perfume. Animal, mineral, spirit, physical, spiritual. I'm the one you want. I'm the one you need. Really?
I don't know what that is.
Oh my God.
We are talking about 1983, right?
I was
Yes,
11.
we are talking. I love Drop the Pilot so freaking much. Okay.
That's a
Number
good song.
2, Echo and the Bunnymen with The Cutter. Oh, The Cutter. There's The Cutter.
Don't know that one either. Can't imagine seeing Good Cycle in the Bunnyman, but I don't know that one.
It's so good. Echo and the Bunnymen.
I barely remember it.
The Cutter.
Yeah, I don't
is
remember
so-
that one.
It's like their best song. Seriously. Oh my God.
I couldn't
Number
name a single
1.
song by Echo and the Bunnymen.
Lips Like
What?
Sugar, I think, is the big one.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
everybody. And Bring
That's
on the Dancing
that's
Horses.
pretty bad. Lips Like Sugar.
Yeah, but Bring on Dancing Horses. Everybody.
Sounds like something Ted Nugent would sing.
Yeah. Well, he'd be like Pussy Lips Like Sugar or something.
Yeah, it's normally Richards. All right, and number 1, my number 1 favorite of 1983, Prince with Let's Pretend We're Married.
Let's pretend we're married.
Oh, no, that is the best freaking. Oh,
But not the single cuts out the good parts.
Better
that-
than Little Red
So,
Little
the
Red
album
Corvette.
version
Better
is
than
way better.
1999.
Pretend we're going all night. I sincerely want to fuck the taste out of your mouth. Can you relate?
so good.
That was a headphone album.
Oh, that was a head album.
Are we drinking the same thing tonight, Robert?
Probably.
Gatorade. Huh?
That's me.
Icy blue vitamin water. Okay, so that's Craig's top 30.
That's got to be good for the liver.
I'm going next.
Yes.
Okay, I
Yeah.
got
Might
I
as
got
well go
about
clockwise.
10. Yeah, I got about 10 records for tops, and then I got about 5 bottoms. Red Rider, Neurotta, Tom Cochrane, Lunatic Fringe. This is a great record.
Lunatic
Really?
Fringe is on there?
Isn't it? No, the other one is on here, isn't it?
As far as I am.
Human Race and shit. What was that? What was the other song on here? Was it Power? Yeah, I think it was Power.
I got the power!
Oh, and Crack the Sky. Yeah, I liked this record. Actually, when I was looking through 83s, it turns out I have 2 copies of this.
I got a feeling all of our choices are going to be really different.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
mine will be Casey Kasem stuff.
But that's why we do this. We all have
Yes.
very different tastes. The sophomore effort by Men at Work, I actually like this better than the debut. I think
It's
Overkill.
all right.
Overkill is a perfect song. It's such a great song. I love this record. I like it way better than the first one. But very cool.
And you don't have to listen to Down Under when you listen to that one.
Yeah. Depeche Mode, Construction Time Again. Great record. Haven't listened to this in ages. I love this series that Pete Townsend did, the Scoop series. It's all like demos and outtakes of like Who songs and solo stuff. I love this series. I think there's 3 of them, but this one came out in 83. This is the first one. Really, really cool stuff. I like it actually better than a lot of the Who versions of songs.
Hoover.
Martha and the Muffins.
Oh.
Yeah. Great record. Fun record. XTC. Awesome record from 1983.
Which one is that?
Mummer.
Mummer, okay.
One of the few U2 albums that I actually like.
Yeah.
It's their best one.
It's their best. Their first 3 are
by
far their best. After that, they kind of lose me. But yeah,
I like them all.
What a great record! Great record. These are my favorite. These are like my favorites now of the year. Talking Heads, Speaking in Tongues.
Oh yes.
Their last great record. Everything after that.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Yep.
Little
Right there,
Creatures is
Robert.
good. Little Creatures is good.
Yeah.
True Stories is okay.
One of the most underrated bands of the 80s, The Fix.
Good one.
Reach the Beach. Yeah, all their records are great.
I wish I had that on vinyl.
It was a Record Store Day release a couple of years ago, I think. Yeah, because I upgraded my copy, and I got this a few years ago. All their records are great. They're still making records. They just released one a couple of weeks ago, and they're pretty solid. Really good. Yeah. The Soul Mining, classic, great record, and probably my favorite, New Order, Power, Corruption, and Lies.
Nice.
Don't have that one yet.
Age of Consent.
Yeah, I don't have that either.
Absolutely
I was meant to get that,
fantastic.
but it's very
Fantastic
expensive.
record. It's very and this is an OG. I've had that for forever. And then I got my 4 bottoms.
We're doing
that's
bottoms
later.
after we all go around.
Oh, are we?
Gave it away. He's going to say the Moody Blues.
Yeah. Why? It's probably one of you. Is it your top bottom?
Yeah, that's my number 1 song. Well, I'm just doing songs.
Yeah, that's it. What a great year for music.
Yes,
Awesome.
it was. Well,
Awesome.
1983, like I
Unbelievable.
said, was a very special year for me. I was 11 years old, and during the summer, I decided to start listening to pop music on the radio and get in touch with new music. I hadn't done that before. I had no idea what was going on in 1982 or 81 or whatever. I was listening to the Beatles or the Monkees or Elvis Presley. I did do Kiss. They were current, but that was listening to rock albums, not listening to the radio. So I literally had my Trapper Keeper. It was an actual Trapper Keeper with the note, and I would listen to the countdown, the Casey Kasem countdown, and write down the top 40 and grade each song like a school grade. A, B, C, D, and F. And other than that, I was listening to the radio nonstop. Just
You
the
were
local
a
radio station.
nerd.
Yeah, I really dove because in video we didn't have MTV, but we had Friday night videos.
Yeah.
I would listen to the
Night
two hit
Flight.
stations, which were KHTR and
Night Flight.
1065 KWK. Fun fact, later on I would work at that it was a different call letter, but I would work on that frequency, playing hits from the 80s that I listened to as an 11-year-old.
Oh.
But there's no way I had to narrow this down to 20. We're supposed to be doing like 10 up in here. I had to narrow this down to 20 or 5. The only way I could do that is I have PDF files of all the Billboard weekly charts of the 70s and 80s. So I went through a lot of 1983. The song had to reach at least number 30. So there's not a lot of like heavy metal. There's no Dio Rainbow in the Dark. There's no Iron Maiden or anything like that. It had to go to number 30 or above. And I only picked one song from an artist. So I don't have multiple artists. So they are Back on the Chain Gang from the Pretenders. I mean, that first song I ever heard from the Pretenders. Dexy's Midnight Runners. Come On, Eileen. The banjos, the fiddles. Wow, love that song. Hungry Like the Wolf, the first Duran Duran song I ever heard. The video of that on Friday Night Videos. And by the way, fun fact, if you have this Rio album in the US version, there are 3 different versions of this. And the only way you can tell is by the matrix or by looking at the size of the songs. Some of them have the longer version of Hungry Like the Wolf, which is what my cassette has. Some of them have the shorter version. And there's also different mixes. Some of them have the UK mix on a lot of songs. The later ones have just the all US mixes almost. And they were all from 82 and 83, so they're all right around the same time released. Rolling Stones, Undercover of the Night, another excellent video, the original video. It was like one of the first songs I heard from the Rolling Stones. Like I said, I wasn't into... The classic rock was my brother's 8-tracks, and I guess he didn't like the Rolling Stones. I knew Satisfaction and maybe Painted Black.
It was a good song, Undercover of the Night.
I love that because it was them in the 80s, and they were able to update their sound but still be like dirty, violent Rolling Stones.
Right.
And kind of like Miss You, they did with disco. They were still themselves, but they were able to sound like that time. I love She Was Hot, too, that other song in the video, but that didn't reach the top 30. The Kinks, Come Dancing, same thing. First Kinks song I ever heard. Love the video, fun song. Lover Boy, It's 100 Above, Hot Girls, In Love. Another fun video, great like pop metal, not pop metal, like pop rock type song. Def Leppard, Foolin'. I don't like that as much as the rest of these, but it's probably my favorite Def Leppard song. It's really the only one I like. I didn't care for Photograph, and I did not like Rock of Ages that much. But Foolin', I love the fa-fa-fa. Come on.
Yeah.
Burning Down the House, Talking Heads. Again, first Talking Heads song I ever heard. I'd heard of the Talking Heads because on TV shows, whenever they needed a weird band or the weird new wave kid would be into something, they'd say, he's got his Talking Heads tape. Talking Heads were mentioned on The Facts of Life. But this was the first song I ever heard from him, and I still love that song. First song I ever heard from Prince, Delirious. Because I wasn't listening when 1999 and Little Red Corvette were big singles. I started listening and there's no video for Delirious, so when I heard it on the radio, I thought it was a posh white guy, like in a members only jacket, because he's like, get delirious, whatever you need. I thought it was I don't even know who, like a Daryl Hall type. And when I finally saw Prince in the Little Red Corvette video, I was like, oh, well, okay, I was way off on that. But still love that, the keyboard. And that's why I got the 1999 album with Let's Pretend We're Married and all the dirty little things that are in that. Suddenly Last Summer from the Motels. It sounded so different than anything else that was on, because it was so atmospheric.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Almost eerie sounding. I loved it. Modern Love from David Bowie. Did not care that much for China Girl. I liked Let's Dance, but I prefer the single, though the album was way too long. But yeah, Modern Love, I want to say that's probably the first David Bowie song I ever heard, but loved the video. I thought he was great, didn't know who he was. Quiet Riot, Come On, Feel the Noise was the loudest thing on the radio. Nothing else sounded like it. And yes, Metal Gatekeepers, here's the part where you go, I prefer the Slade version, not the remake. I was 11 years old. The only Slade song I ever heard was Mama We're All Crazy Now, because it was on a K-Tel album. Come On, Feel the Noise to me will always be a Quiet Riot song. And the Slade version isn't really that good. It's more of like a shuffle.
I like the Quiet Riot version
song.
better.
Yeah, I did.
And of course, the video with what 11-year-old kid's not going to like the video with the kid with the huge ass stereo and breaks down the wall and all that. 38 Special. If I'd Been the One. Still my favorite 38 Special song. I'd never heard Hold On Loosely, or what's the other one that sounds just like that that's played all the time?
Hold
On Loosely. And,
Hold On Loosely and...
Hold On Loosely 2. Whatever that... Caught Up in You.
Caught Up in You.
Yeah, If I'd Been the One, I still love that song. Running with a Night from Lionel Richie. Again, the motive continues. What a great video for this, where they come in and like bust in on the wedding and, you know, in the suits, and we were running. I love Lionel Richie, man. What a songwriter. I mean, he can write ballads like that I actually liked as a young kid. You know, usually I didn't care for the ballads, but his were like, You Are, as cheesy as that is. I love that song. I love all the Lionel Richie stuff.
So
but like Running with the Night towers above all of them. Culture Club, Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? I think that was probably an 82 UK thing, but it was 83 by the time it was a hit in the US. Big Country, In a Big Country.
Yeah.
You know, to me, like Talking Heads, all these bands were new. And you didn't know who was going to be, like, you know, sustaining with more hits coming, or you didn't know who was going to just come and go. For some reason, I knew that Big Country was going to be it. Because their name was Big Country, and the song was called In a Big Country. And I was just thinking, even then, like, yeah, these guys are going to be around for a while. These guys are just going to have the one song.
Yeah, they made some terrific records.
They had Fields of Fire, I think, was a minor hit. Beat It from Michael Jackson. I mean, what a pop song. You have everything in there. The Eddie Van Halen guitar, the Toto guy with the guitar riff over and over, the video with the fucking dance-off. By the way, fun fact, the two gang leaders in that video are actually the two main choreographers of the dance in that video. And one of them, well, they went off and on, but one of them also choreographed Thriller video. The white one. The blonde one, I should say. Eurythmics, Love is a Stranger. I thought Sweet Dreams was pretty good. I liked it. I really thought Annie Lennox in the video looked really cool. But when Love is a Stranger came out, I was like, oh,
yeah,
wow.
That's a great
the song. And my final one is a guilty pleasure because it's 80s trash. It's synthesizers. I don't even think the saxophone's real. Sheena Easton and Telephone. Which was a minor
it was
hit.
almost on my list.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So
I
that's
recognize the song title, but I cannot remember the song. And that might
weird
be
video. Video's stupid. With
Yeah, it was a
Dracula.
weird video. Yeah.
You call me on the telephone, but you're never home.
Gotta
No,
get
your
it.
singing doesn't help.
Long distance love affair. Oh! I mean, it's like she's in the room. Uncanny. At least it's not the Minnie Riperton impersonation.
Oh, thank God.
I love
You can do that again for those who missed it.
Yeah. Spare Mike's eardrums.
Yeah, I know.
It's higher than that. Would you like to hear?
He does it.
Where's that? There he is, right there behind you. That's the what's his name? Daisy. Her name?
Oh yes, Daisy. Yes,
She liked it.
she loved it. She loved it.
So
Huh?
cute.
I'm
Oh, and
assuming
now
when a
she's-
dog perks up their ears, that means,
She
Hey,
loved
that's
it.
my frequency. All right. Well, then I
those
guess
are my
that
top
brings
20.
That brings me up, right?
Yep.
So
Yes.
I included a short list of notable events also from 1983. Did you know that this was the first time that CDs went on sale in the United States? It was March 2nd, 1983 that they started. The video game Mario Brothers was first released in 1983. And
What
I
was the
consider
first?
these-
What was the first CD that was manufactured? There's a debate.
That I don't know.
It was either ABBA, The Visitors, or the Bee Gees, and I don't remember what it's called. Like Night something? Night. Not Night Moves, but Night something?
It was
Uh-huh.
Bee Gees Night Moves.
Yeah.
Wow.
Night Fever. No, it was a 1981 or 82 Bee Gees album, and there's a debate whether which of those two were the first to go on sale. Some people also say Billy Joel's 52nd Street.
52nd Street. That's what I've always heard.
Okay.
So
The
those
first
are the three.
Motorola released the first mobile phones in 1983. And the Star Wars movie Return of the Jedi was released in 1983.
I saw it.
And then Sally Ride, first American woman in space, 1983. So there were some, pretty big events in both culture and technology, that really, you think about, they were pretty important events.
I was wondering about her name. That was quite a coincidence for someone to be named, and that's her real name, right? Sally Ride?
Yes.
Like, were her parents... She would have been born when the Mustang Sally song was out?
Sally Ride.
Maybe
I mean, that is
that's
quite
when
a
she was
coincidence.
conceived.
That's
Right.
interesting.
Let's see when Sally Ride was born.
All right. Well, now, I got a bunch of honorable mentions for singles, so I will go through them quickly in no particular order. For the singles, I'll start off with Allentown, Billy Joel, Dirty Laundry, Don Henley, Pass the Duchy, Musical Youth. Then I got two for Culture Club, I'll Tumble For You, and Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? Prince, I have two, Little Red Corvette, 1999. The Kinks, Come Dancing. Police, Every Breath You Take. Michael Jackson, Beat It. Eddie Grant, Electric Avenue. Men at Work, Down Under. Sweet Dreams Are Made of This, The Eurythmics. Twilight Zone, Golden Earring.
Yeah.
That song was all over the place. Love
Yeah,
that
it
song.
was. Wow.
Modern English, Melt With You. The Safety Dance, Men Without Hats. And I'm Still Standing, Elton John. So those are my honorable mention. But here are my top 10.
I have a fun fact.
Fun fact.
Okay, the
fact.
video for Do You Really Want to Hurt Me was censored on MTV. And it was censored for the same reason that the taco video for Putting on the Ritz was edited. Does anyone know why?
Because they thought it was a sexual innuendo?
No. Not sexual at all. Blackface.
Oh.
The jury in
That's right. Yeah.
the Do You Really Want to Hurt Me video is going like this, and they're in blackface. You didn't see that on MTV. They just replaced it with other parts of the video, and the same thing for Putting on the Ritz with Taco. That was replaced with a still shot of Gary Cooper, like zooming in slowly on like a black and white photo of Gary Cooper.
Wow. Did not know that.
Probably
The things you learn here from
Yes.
us Guncles.
Yeah.
That's why you need to watch. All right. My top 10 singles. Number 10, The Fix, One Thing Leads to Another. Just love that song. Number 9, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, You Got Lucky. Great song.
Great
Duran
album.
Duran, Hungry Like the Wolf. And number 7, David Bowie, China Girl. Number 6.
Written by Iggy Pop.
Number 6, The Clash with Rock the Casbah. And then number 5, Bonnie Tyler with Total Eclipse of the Heart. Number 4, Pretenders, Back on the Chain Gang. Number 3, David Bowie again with Let's Dance. Number 2, Billie Jean, Michael Jackson. I just really liked Billie Jean. That was just love that song. And then number 1 single, Talking Heads, Burning Down the House.
Oh.
So
I have a funny. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I was just going to say I have a funny thing about Billie Jean. As my friend really thought that Michael said the Chad is not my son. Billie Jean, but the Chad is not my son. Yeah, the Chad is not my. I'm like, well,
I always wondered on the Burning Down the House video at the end where it shows David Byrne's face on the road as they're going past down the road or whatever. The white lines in the middle of the road are going right up his nose. Anybody else ever notice that?
Never.
I don't remember. I just don't remember. Bleeding ignorance.
I remember
No.
being 11 years old watching Friday night videos and going, cocaine reference, and they didn't even catch it.
And that
That's
probably
cocaine.
that was his cocaine years. So,
Yeah.
Probably.
honorable mentions for albums: "Reach the Beach" by The Fix, John Cougar Mellencamp, like that. Eurythmics, "Touch," the album, and then Frank Zappa, "Man from Utopia," very good, decent release for him at 1983. But now my top 10 albums of 1983. Here they are: "Rock for
That's
Light."
2 different episodes. Anyway, what?
"Rock for Light," Bad Brains. Black punk band out of Bad Brains were out of DC, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Somewhere east.
Number 9, "Synchronicity" by The Police.
The album with more cover variants in the U.S. than any other album.
Mm-hmm. Number 8, "Murmur" by REM. Wonderful album. Number 7, "War" by U2. Just an incredible album. I thought.
It's a second to say goodbye. Say
Yeah.
goodbye. Oh.
Such a great song.
Number 6, as I have it on CD, is Bob Dylan's Infidels. Great.
Never heard that.
I really like that. Very kind of a different thing. This was, coming out after his Christian era, so to speak, and although it was still had that flavor to it, it was much angrier and almost bitter in some respects with some of the songs. Then we have Culture Club and Color by Numbers. Love that album, especially when I heard on the radio Church of the Poison Mind. I thought, my God, what a amazing song that is.
It's their best song.
Number 4, also on CD, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Texas Flood. This was when I started listening to Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I was like, oh my God, who is this? First time I heard it on the playing, I was waiting to watch another band in a bar, and so they were playing, the music before the band starts. And I kept thinking, is this Jimi Hendrix? Is this Jimi Hendrix? And then that's when someone said, no, this is Stevie Ray Vaughan. And I'm like, holy shit.
Guitarist on the David Bowie Let's Dance album that you're going to hold
and right, and there it is. Yes. David Bowie's Let's Dance is my number 3 album. My number 2 album of 1983, Violent Femmes, their debut. Jeez, just what an amazing album all the way through. Just so different. And then my number 1 album for 1983 is Speaking in Tongues. Just talk about funk. Talk about so different. Everything that they were doing through that phase up to this record. Everything was so different and innovative and amazing, and it just kept blowing my mind every time they came out with a record. So those are my tops for 1983.
Now it's time for the bottoms of 1983.
Bottoms,
the ones that we don't like.
I edited so much.
Or just not in our wheelhouse.
Not much more, yeah. Yeah, no.
You just love that phrase, don't you, Robert?
I found out what a wheelhouse was.
Did somebody tell you?
Yes.
A couple of people did, I think, right? Richard did.
It seems like Mike is the one who always says that.
I do say that.
Yeah, he does say wheelhouse a lot. But okay, well, my bottoms.
Hi, Terry.
Oh, hi, Terry. My bottoms are probably going to get some shit, but that's okay.
Oh,
number
mine are gonna
5.
Oh,
Yeah, don't use those two. Don't
Wait
put
till
those two
mine.
together like that.
Are you giving them a warning?
I'm gonna get some backlash. I don't know. Maybe,
Oh.
maybe I won't, but
Backlash
wait.
is still kind of a... Anyway.
Oh,
make my
baby!
words
I love it when you
dirtier
stop.
than they're supposed to be. Okay, and I'm trying to keep the fuck word out of my mouth a lot this week.
Don't fucking
That's-
worry about it.
I'm gonna fucking say it a lot, but I've been trying
Fucking
to,
A.
because I do say that word a lot, and it's okay. Anyways, number 5 Elton John, I'm Still Standing. I cannot stand that song. I cannot.
How ironic.
Yeah, and I didn't even know. It's so terrible. It's so terrible.
It's one of my least favorites.
And I mean, I love Elton John, but that's a terrible song. Number 4, David Bowie, Let's Dance. It's a terrible song. It's terrible. It's terrible. Number 3. Okay, this is a band.
If you do another one that I like for number 3.
Yeah, burning down the house at number 3.
Nobody's mentioned it. And yeah, Burning Down the House. No, actually, I kind of like that song. They had, like, this song, like, just, it misrepresents the band because their earlier stuff was just so good. And then you come out with Spandau Ballet's True. Oh, Jesus, my ears bleed. And you had, my God, what's to cut a long story short? I mean, their older stuff was just so freaking and then
True is awful.
True. It's terrible. And it's the only song anybody knows by Spandau Ballet. It's terrible. Number 2. Kiss, Lick It Up. Lick It Up. That's so terrible. It's so terrible. I mean, it's so terrible. It's so bad.
Yeah, put the makeup back on, people. What
Exactly.
are you doing?
We're begging, please,
And then that
put it
video
back
where
on.
Gene Simmons seems to still think he's the demon guy, but he doesn't have makeup on, so he's walking around like...
Yeah, he's, oh, God, yeah.
I did not like that when they took
it's
that
very
makeup off.
awkward. Like, I'm vaguely, and I just remember them very awkwardly kind of, lick it up, lick it. It's terrible. Number 1, possibly the worst song in existence.
Oh my God.
But definitely of 1983. I don't even know where to begin with how terrible this song is.
Worse than Trapped in the Closet?
It is worse than I pretty dang close than worse. Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God, I can't
But
wait.
it's only a 4-minute song.
There's no rant, but
I have one.
James Ingram and Michael McDonald. Yamo be there? First off, what the fuck is Yamo be there?
I thought it was like, yeah, I'm gonna be there. That's what I always thought that meant. Like, Yamo be there, like, yeah, I'm gonna be there. But I guess Yamo is like a spiritual I don't know.
Is it? Okay,
I don't know.
I've always been baffled. Like, they did this on purpose? Like, Yamo be there? Maybe I'll have to look up Yamo B or Yamo and see.
And B is just the letter B on the title.
That's in there. And it's like like you said, I thought it's like I'm gonna be there, and it's terrible. And plus, Michael McDonald's voice just makes me want to jump off a balcony. But
he is from Ferguson, Missouri, just 15 minutes away.
Oh well, let's go over and say hi.
You don't want to go to Ferguson, Missouri. It's sun's down.
No.
Is it lovely? It's lovely this time of year. Yamo be there. It's terrible.
Wow, that's a song I blocked out of my memory bank.
I want
Heavenly Father watching us all.
Don't.
Be there.
Well, it's a doggone shame.
Oh my God, Michael McDonald. You are so good at your mini voices.
Yes.
Like, I thought Michael McDonald was with us.
It's all his years in radio.
Yeah, he is almost as bad as...
The hell's that?
Kenny Rogers? Aaron Neville, yeah.
I like Aaron Neville.
Oh my... Somebody likes Aaron Neville?
Never understood his appeal, his singing.
I like his Neville.
He get like a penis tattooed on his face? Wasn't he had that weird tattoo that looks like a penis?
Oh, now let's not face shame.
I'm not face shaming. He had this weird tattoo that looked.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I'm not saying his face. He got
tattoos are a choice, so you can shame
that's
those.
a choice. If he had a weird whatever, I wouldn't make fun of that. We all have our things. Go ahead.
Wow. I don't know if I can follow that.
You can. I believe in you.
I was just gonna show a bad Moody Blues record.
I don't know.
Which bad
I'm
Moody Blues
sitting at
is
the
that
wheel?
one?
This is The Distance. Yeah, I think that is on here. Yeah. This is when they decided we're gonna make like short songs that aren't pretentious and talking and saying poetry.
Yeah,
I'm not a.
stuff. The Long Distance Voyager was really the only good one they did.
That was pretty good. I think this is the follow up to that.
Yeah.
Not good. And what an awful cover. It's like mustard.
It's like you've just walked out of a movie theater and you're in the sun and you're going like this. And that's what you see.
Gary Newman made a horrible album this year. This is Warriors. It's really not very good.
Did you know that David Bowie hated Gary Newman?
Yes, I did. It's okay. It's got some pretty bad songs, but there's a couple of decent ones on there.
I have never heard a Gary Newman album.
And you own
throw
one.
that out there.
Oh, well then it's my choice to do the album review next week.
Yeah, I've realized that
and it's the worst one of 1983.
It'll be that one.
Yeah, it's going to be that one.
Sweet. Okay, here comes here we go. I'm going to get... This is not a good record. I'm sorry.
Undercover.
The single?
I see the tongue. It's the
single, Undercover, I agree with you guys. It's a good song. Yeah, it's like Miss You or Emotional Rescue. They're changing their sound to kind of go with the 80s.
I love it. Man. I love She Was Hot. That's awesome. Wow. Oh my God. Too Much Blood's pretty cool.
Too Much Blood is okay.
It's kind of comical.
And
yeah, that's great.
I mean, this is the follow-up. This is their follow-up. Great. Their last great album.
Yes.
Their last great album was Some Girls. But this is the follow-up to their worst album, so this actually kind of feels good. I mean, because
Wanna Hold You is great. Too Much Blood, pretty yeah.
Okay, great is a.
It's got like it's half of the way that they have the sticker. I don't like this cover art at all.
It's terrible.
I think it's meant as a joke because you think these are stickers. And you think when you get home and you can pull it off, you're going to see, what's under them. And then what's under them is another sticker. If you peel this off, it's another sticker.
Oh, I've never done that.
Not a sticker, but another, triangle thing there with a different picture on it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't like it. But the single is great. The single was great.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad songs on there, like, what's the one? I just saw it. Not Pretty Beat Up. Is that on there?
Yeah, Pretty Beat Up's on there.
Yeah, there's a lot of songs like that that are kind of lame. Too Tough.
Yeah.
That's lame.
Wanna Hold You. Too Much
Blood. Wanna Hold You's great.
All the Way Down is okay. Yeah.
All the Way Down is in. I mean, he's got such a big penis. She went all the way down.
After Dirty Work, I mean, there's only one way up, and that's up. Because, I mean, Dirty Work is hot garbage.
I like Too Rude off of Dirty. Keith Richards has the best song on Dirty Work.
Yes, you absolutely. Yeah, it is. It's absolutely the best song on that record. Yep. And now I don't hate this record. I just don't like this era, and it's David Bowie. Stands. I don't like this era. I love Cat People. Putting Out Fire with Gasoline. Best song on this thing. Great song. That's
kind of cheating though, because it is on the album, but it really was out before that album. Because it was from the Cat
in the movie.
People movie. Yeah, and on that soundtrack.
Yeah. But this is a Modern Love. Man, I hear that song and just bleh. And same with China Girl. Can't stand it. Let's Dance I kind of like. It's alright, but yeah, that's about it. It's just not my favorite Bowie era, and I love Bowie. I'm a completist. I have everything he's done. This is not good.
I think there's a lot worse eras for Bowie than that.
What era?
Oh my God, Never Let Me Down and
I consider that the same. I
wouldn't say Tonight. That's somebody's favorite album. So
I consider those the same era.
Oh, right.
Those I'm not a huge fan of
It's all the
Machine.
same era. I think the first album really lives up.
Points for Penis on the cover. Points for Penis on the cover. Tin Machine.
Yeah. Tin Machine, I did not like Tin Machine when it came out. It took me years and years and years to like it.
I will always remember when Macaulay Culkin was hosting Saturday Night Live, and Tin Machine was the musical act. And he hesitated when he introduced them, and he said David Bowie instead of Tin Machine.
Ooh, I bet that
Oh.
pissed him off too, because he was all he wanted to be was in a band, and
Right.
yeah, I bet that infuriated him.
Okay, so
are you
my
gonna-
bottoms
Those are my
for
bottoms.
my bottoms for 1983 again are singles. These all had to reach the top 30 on the Billboard US charts because there was plenty of singles that were number 40 that didn't go to number 30 that were horrendous. So I had to make rules. I narrowed it down to 10. A lot of these I actually had F's next to on my little sheet that I made in my Trapper Keeper. True from Spandau Ballet. Hated that. And all this
Terrible.
great music was coming up. I mean, none of us really mentioned Cyndi Lauper. But I thought Girls Just Want to Have Fun was okay. But my favorite stuff from that album actually was singles in 1984.
Well, there
Just
was
wanted to
so
mention
much. There was so much good stuff that I couldn't add.
so
I had
much.
to-
But
that
then,
was a
then
lot.
True from Spandau Ballet comes on the radio, and I'm like, what in the hell is this?
Awful.
Another one of those groups that, I mean, in the UK they have other singles, but here it was really that one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably about it. Toto, I Won't Hold You Back. It sounds like, it's that
I have
kind
a
of
different Toto song for my
light
bottoms.
rock kind of whatever. Air Supply, Making Love Out of Nothing at All.
That was
Written by
something.
Jim Steinman,
Oh,
originally
boy.
meant for Meatloaf to sing. Can you imagine that?
Oh boy.
I can.
That
Easily
almost
imagine that.
was on my top list, so
Oh my god!
I love that song. I ain't
Wow,
gonna
what
lie
a horrible
about it.
song.
I
And
ain't gonna lie about it.
I thought it was very ballsy of them to say, "I can make all the stadiums rock." It's like, no, you what?
No, they can't.
And this, I remember, it holds the distinction of being the first song I hated. In my experience of delving into pop music currently, that was the first one I was like, okay, I love these 30, this is incredible, all this great music. What have I been missing all this time? I love doing this and blah, 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 learning all these new, and then that was like the only one for like the first month of listening to all this stuff.
They played that at every school dance I went to. Every school dance, we had to dance to it. Every single one. Some girl wanted to dance with me to that piece of crap.
The only band that's on here twice, because I didn't do the one artist per one song thing for the bottoms, Styx and Don't Let It End. This one people might like, but I don't. Kaja Gugu, Too Shy. That was another one. Too shy, shy, hush, hush. It was like
It is a
creepy.
terrible song.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Al Jarreau, Morning. It was like, what the hell is this? That was like the I Won't Hold You Back. It was too elevator. I would think of it as elevator music at the time. It was really just kind of adult contemporary. Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney with the very first single from
Yes.
the best-selling album
Yes.
of all time, "The Girl Is Mine." Good.
Oh no! I
God.
had a different one. I had a different one of that duet.
Yeah,
Did
they
it say-
just,
say, say,
yeah,
say?
That was the number one song of the year, actually, I think. But I didn't mind that one, and the video was fun or whatever. But "The Girl Is Mine," that speaking part where it's like, Michael, we're not going to fight
awful.
about this. Oh, Paul, I told you I'm a lover, not a fighter. Oh, well, she told me.
I
Oh,
remember
well, she
that
told me
song
she couldn't
now,
live without
yeah.
me. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, that
You
was
know?
so stupid.
He's
So
fighting with
fucking
me.
And
stupid.
I used to have the only
Paul
way I
McCartney
knew
was
current.
his beard.
Well,
Yeah.
he should have been around from the Let It Be days then if he wanted a beard. Anyway, yeah, so like I knew some current pop stuff from K-Tel albums of the 70s, so I wasn't, but I never listened to the radio. And so I knew Michael Jackson from Rock With You and Don't Stop Till You Get Enough because they were both on this album called Hitline from K-Tel. And I love those two. And this was the other song. I didn't know any other Michael Jackson songs. And then this comes out and I'm like, oh, Michael Jackson's still around. Cool. What the hell is this? And I don't know why that was. I guess because Paul McCartney was on it was why it was a lead single, but terrible.
Yeah.
I have another Elton John song on here from 1983, "Kiss the Bride," which is not only horrible, bad
I don't
sonically,
remember that.
but a sad song. Because, I hate the fact that we were in a time where gay people like Elton John had to sing songs about, oh, I want to kiss the bride. She's so sexy. She's so, I can barely control myself. I just want to walk up and kiss the bride. No, you don't. And that's so sad. It's too bad gay people couldn't just sing, you know what, I want to fuck the groom. I hate that bride. I wish she'd go away. I'd like to get that. I'd like to strap that groom on. You know, that would have been a much better song. Although sonically, it's not a very good song either.
I don't remember that one.
I want to kiss the bride. Hey! It was really stupid. Mr. Roboto from Styx.
Yes.
Another song that I heard when I was and put an F next to it. I still remember the F next to the Air Supply and the F next to True and the F next to Mr. Roboto.
Also one of the worst concerts I ever went to. Absolutely.
I think a lot of people would agree with that were at that, because that's what I hear is that it was just
horrendous.
And I hear that it started off, as a tour, and by the beginning of the tour they had this whole concept, and it was going to be like this movie concert basically, and by the end of the tour they were just doing a concert because audience reaction was so bad.
They did like the whole album.
Right.
They did the whole album, and then they did like an encore of like.
So you songs. Probably saw them when the tour was in its earlier stages then.
I'm not even drinking Mike. Today.
This happened.
Maybe I should.
Yes, it happened
40 years ago.
Yeah, I'm still upset about Mr. Roboto. I think it was like maybe the third or fourth concert I ever went to, Tim.
And I didn't realize how lucky I was at the time growing up in the St. Louis radio market, because both of those stations, now looking back, I realized this, were not playing a lot of the lighter stuff, especially KWK, was playing mostly like rock pop. So what would happen is I would hear all these great songs, and then the Casey Kasem countdown would come on the weekend, which, is nationwide, and I would hear all of these songs I'd never heard before. Like, what the hell is this? It coming in at number 25, and it was like, well, what the hell? 20? I've never even heard this, and it was all of these like light songs, and our stations in St. Louis the two pop stations wouldn't play them, and it was like, wow! I realize now how lucky I am. And the one song, the first one that made me go, why is this on the countdown? I've never heard this before. Barry Manilow, "Read 'Em and Weep."
I don't know that song.
I don't know that song either. And I'm a fan of it.
So nobody's radio stations was playing that, and Casey Kasem's a total fraud. Okay, that makes sense. It was like, look at me and read 'em and weep. And I remember thinking, Barry Manilow, he's like from the 70s. What is he? What are you doing, Casey Kasem? And Barry Manilow, "Read 'Em and Weep." It went to, I looked at the charts, it went to like number 22 or something.
He had an album in like 82 or 83. It's probably the same album.
Is it the one with the neon circular thing on the cover up in the corner?
I don't remember what it was called. Maybe. But there were a couple of other songs that got radio play.
But like I said with Talking Heads, Talking Heads was a name that would get mentioned on TV, but I didn't know what they sounded like until I heard Burning Down the House. Barry Manilow was like that. Whenever they needed, it's like Nickelback of the 70s. Whenever they needed to make fun of somebody, you and your Barry Manilow albums, or they would say Barry Manilow, even though I didn't know any of the song. I think I knew Mandy maybe, but I didn't know any of his other. And then he comes on in like 1983, along with all this brand new, people I'd never heard of. It was just very, very strange. So those are my 10 bottoms. In no particular order. A lot of bottoms. Yeah. Well, some of them literally. I would assume.
Should I do mine and then you're going to do your rant afterwards?
That has to do with the album review.
Okay. All right, so
I'll ask Craig how once he wants me to, from 1 to 10, how hard does he want it?
Can I go before you in the album? I know we already talked about it. Can I go before you?
No, because I'm not going right before Craig.
All right, so my bottoms for 1983. Starting off with events that I wish never happened or I could forget. And some of these are events that are, they're unhappy. They're sorrowful events that happened in 1983. But this one, Menudo Mania. That was in 1983. Menudo did their big tour. They played the Felt Forum in New York. And then later in the year, they played Madison Square Garden, the sold-out shows. Menudo. Blech. Okay.
I don't think I've ever heard a Menudo song. But they were definitely one of those groups that you would hear about all the time.
They were like the original boy band. It was a manufactured... that as soon as your
and their members they would age out members and replace them, right? Yeah. But I don't think I've ever really actually heard a song. I heard all about them.
Oh, they were on the radio all the time.
Really?
Disney was
And the only good thing that came out of Menudo, in my opinion, would have been Ricky Martin.
Ricky Martin.
Yeah, I knew that too. But yeah, it was one of those things like Barry Manilow or Talking Heads. You would hear the name, or I would hear the name all the time in like TV shows or what. But I don't think I ever actually heard them.
Also, that happened in 1983. Marvin Gaye gave the gun that his father used to kill him as a gift on Christmas. So on Christmas 1983, Marvin Gaye gave his father a gun because he wanted his father to have protection because of, the robberies and things like that were going on. And a few months later.
Where is that movie? I mean, talk about multiple
Right?
fascinating. I mean, where's the Marvin Gaye movie? And not the Lifetime, but I mean the real movie.
No, you're right.
Surprised one hasn't been made.
February 1983, Karen Carpenter died. Sad day. This is just a dumb shit thing that happened in 1983. It's when the U.S. invaded Grenada. The final episode of MASH aired in 1983. And then
So
this is really depressing.
We saw that live, yeah.
Yeah.
This is really depressing. All right, the median price of an existing home in 1983 was $70,300. The median price for a home today is $429,000
Wow.
for an existing home.
Mine's almost paid off.
All right, so bottom singles, Toto, Africa. That song it made me sick every time it was being played on the radio. Man Eater, Hall & Oates, same thing. I just hated that song.
Oh God, when they do it in concert now, it's even worse. They've turned it into a reggae song.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's awful.
Nice.
Oh,
I walked out.
oh God. Come on, Eileen.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Eileen. I mean, come on. That was a
Makes for a
terrible.
great Halloween costume, though. You at least have to admit
please.
that.
The McCartney Jackson song that was a bottom for me.
Walk
was
around with
Say,
a name
Say,
tag that
Say.
says Eileen with like white all over you, and
Yeah.
come on, Eileen.
Say.
I think
Mr.
Craig is
Roboto
choking.
was
Craig is
also a bottom
choking.
for me. But Quiet Riot, Come On, Feel the Noise. That was a bottom for me.
Good.
I only have one bottom album, and that's Pink Floyd's The Final Cut.
Yeah, what a drop off. What a coming from like the wall, dark, all that stuff, everything, and then boom, the final cut.
It was just like that's when I basically said I'm done with Pink Floyd. It was just ugh. So those are my bottoms for 1983.
Wow.
All right, that's our tops
That
and
was-
bottoms. It's time to pick the next year we'll be doing.
All right.
Shake it up.
And remember, this goes all the way to 2020 for some reason.
Yeah. And as far
Could
back
have just
as
gone to
1950,
2000, but what's that?
I said,
Yeah, throw
and
those
as
away,
far
Craig.
back
We don't
as
need to go all the way.
1950.
I won't tell anybody.
All right, y'all. You ready for this?
No.
1967.
Oh wow!
Ooh,
All
that's a
right.
good year.
And we really don't talk about the '60s that much on here, so that'll
No,
be
we
interesting.
don't. We don't. We need to.
So,
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
this
good.
is a learning
67.
experience for me.
67.
God, I'll be
Oh,
narrowing it
God.
down to my top 50.
Right?
I was 9 years old.
Stay tuned for the special two-part episode of the 1967.
Negative.
And there was a lot of stuff going on. I remember it.
And it's
I
all
was
different.
9.
I mean, you've got all these different kinds of music.
I was born.
I was
Cheers.
not. And
I wasn't either.
the couple of us were not born.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
We should all drop acid.
Never. Oh,
Let's do it.
And we could do it live.
Yeah.
Because our live streams don't go long enough already.
Yeah, that would be a
Right.
way to
Let's
fill up
do
the
it.
live stream.
Like an 18-hour live stream.
The
So
1967
1967
blotter
tops
episode.
and bottoms.
1967.
So now it's time for our album review, and this time Craig has picked the album. It's the Sundays, Static and Silence. Mine's smaller again.
I don't have a copy of it.
Still sealed after 25 years, if that's any indication.
I used to have it. I had it on CD many, many years ago.
So I think I go first with this one, right?
You go first.
Yes. We'll
Okay.
go counterclockwise.
All right. Yes, the Sundays. Overall,
Oh, wow.
Oh no!
overall, I really liked the music that was on here. I just think a lot of the music got spoiled by overproduction, with especially with the orchestra, especially with the strings. But you've got really great guitar work that's going on here with David. How do you say his name? Galvan, or?
I don't know how do you say it. I just call him David.
And then, Harriet Wheeler's voice, it's very smooth voice. She kind of sounds a little bit like Dolores O'Riordan, but without the brogue, if you can imagine her without that Irish brogue. She also has kind of a Sheryl Crow quality to her singing. I just really liked her voice and what she was doing. And overall, yeah, I think if a lot of the stuff that they added to this, I would like it. The first song, Summertime, I could hear like this wah-wah going on. I like the layers of guitars that were being put into the song. But that synth at the end was like, I had this beautiful song, beautiful melody, great guitars going with the vocals. And then this synth comes in that just was kind of like, and it comes in at the end. It was like, damn it, this was unnecessary for the entire song. And then you put it in at the end. It was, Homeward, solid melody with really simple guitars. Really, really liked that song. Lovely guitar with folk song. But then that orchestra, it just blah to me. It just ruined. If I could listen to this album that was just what's her name now? I can't remember. Harriet. If it was just Harriet and David, and then maybe a couple other musicians, for drums, if they got another guitarist, and the bass, some of the songs, the bass player was just really amazing bass player. If it was just that and none of this other stuff that went over it, this to me would be a really, really good record. But to me, the addition of the strings, I like the flute in some parts, that worked well, but the horns and the strings, like the song She, the great strumming with the guitar, the bass, very melodic, very strong electric guitar backing. But then I wrote down fucking strings. It just kind of ruined the mood for me when I'm thinking of you. Great melody again. I like the slide guitar that was going on in that. It kind of had a Wallflowers feel, like the song Sixth Avenue Heartache. Felt that was and I think that was one of the purer songs on there. I Can't Wait. I wrote down horns, really? Birds tweeting? I was like, no.
Right, 2 weeks in a row for that.
Yes. Cry, I wrote down, fuck the strings again. Mandolins, I was like, there was a good song there that was being overridden by all this extra stuff that was going on. And really, to me, it sounded like a song that you would hear at the Grammys. Another Flavor has good rock beat and guitar, good rock guitar. The synth works on this one because it has this kind of like almost drone-like Eno kind of sound to it, and it's faint. It's like in the background. It's not like stepping on anything else. And again, I love the layer of guitars. I really think this could have been a great guitar band. again, just the way some of these songs were put together. If it was just guitar players and her in a rhythm section. Leave the City. I wrote down Leave the Strings. The song Your Eyes. The flute is acceptable in Your Eyes. That was okay with that. So Much. The guitar layers, to me, they really, in that song, really showed how unnecessary the strings were because of the way the guitars were layered into the song. It was like, why did you bring these strings in? And then the final song, Monochrome, at least with what I listened to, I guess there's a release that has 13 instead of 12 tracks on it. I don't know, but Monochrome was the last one.
It's reversed. There's the UK version had 11 songs. The US version has 12.
Okay. So Monochrome was the closer, and it was kind of an okay song. But again, the horns just to me just killed it. Just really, really, they're just. But if I could get a recording where all of that was stripped out, I believe there is a very solid and beautiful album in there. It's just being, to me, in my opinion, being destroyed by this extra production that was going in with the strings, the horns, etc. Because I liked her voice and I loved the way the guitars were, these layers of acoustic guitar, and then there'd be an electric guitar, and then there'd be a pedal steel guitar also, all layered, together in that. And I really liked that concept. But yeah, the other stuff was just really distracting. So because of its potential, I'll give it a 3 rainbow rating.
All right, who's next?
You, and I'm not.
You.
Well, Mike can go next if he really wants to. I'm delaying mine. I'm putting this off.
I mean, I'd rather not go it right after you because I don't know why. Do you want to go, Robert?
It doesn't. Whatever you want to do.
Okay. Well, I'll go. Okay. So
I'll go after Craig.
I used to own this record. I had the CD, and I remember liking it a lot more than I like it now. I probably picked a wrong day to listen to it. I had to be up at 4 a.m.
Was it not a Sunday?
It was. Boom. Yeah, exactly. No, I had to be up at 4 a.m. and I was driving to somewhere out in the burbs for work, and I put this on, and man, it was putting me to sleep. I mean, especially the first 3 songs. I was dozing out. So I was like, nope, I come back to it later. So I came back to it the next day after I wasn't, I had more sleep. I agree with Richard. It suffers from overproduction. So much overproduction. There doesn't need to be all these different layers, and especially with the horns and the just oddly placed horns too. I think you're right. Had it been stripped down to more just guitar work and her amazing voice. She has a gorgeous voice. I think I would probably like it a lot more. I love the guitar work on all the up-tempo songs, like She and Summertime. I think the guitar work is absolutely fantastic. He's really, really talented. And I like how he layered the guitar in. Cry, I really like that song, actually. That was probably one of my favorite songs on the record. That and Another Flavor. Another Flavor is my favorite song on the record. I think it's fantastic. I love the guitar work on there. It doesn't hold up to what I remember, because I do remember buying this CD and thinking, this is great. I really, really liked it. And maybe it's just a different time in my life, different things going on and everything. It doesn't do anything for me anymore. But it does have potential. Richard's right. I'm gonna also give it 3 rainbows.
Bring on the negative rainbow.
Well, like I said, how do you 1 to 10? How hard do you want it?
Oh dear
Yeah,
God.
do whatever you want because I'm already know that I'm gonna be in tears. So
I don't want people crying and
We don't
whatever.
want a gunkle crying.
What a boring world it would be if we all agreed on
understand.
music and we all liked the same songs.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't have a need for the vinyl community. We could just, one person could just make all the videos and we would all agree.
Right.
So it's great that we can disagree on music
that
and
would
all
be
still
me.
be friends.
True.
I didn't
Well,
like
we're
this
gonna
at all.
test that
I've had
tonight.
this for 25 years and never opened it because I heard they're wild horses and I'm like, yeah, there's no need to open this. So I finally heard it after all these years and I just thought it was really bland. And it's funny that they have another song on here called Another Flavor because I wasn't picking up on that at all. It sounds like the same flavor throughout the flavorless actually. The first song sounds like a Disney movie. Like the girl's getting ready, like Rebecca Black Friday or something, without the humor. It's really bad. I can't believe people. Anyway, well,
That
you
was
said that you picked this randomly, so I had no idea how much you liked this because you said you picked it with
No,
your
I
phone.
picked Debbie Gibson randomly.
And we
And
will
then
get to that, by the way.
Then I said no. I'm going to go with the Sunday.
Oh, I thought you picked this randomly. Okay, well now I really feel
No.
bad because
No.
I didn't like this at all. And I appreciate that it's a real band playing real instruments. I always like that. Too bad they barely played them. But I don't know. I didn't do any like track by track because they all sounded very similar to me, except for the first one sounded more of like a pop single, like I said, like a Disney movie thing. I don't know. I mean, just very bland. I did not like the female Harriet Wheeler's voice at all. To the point where I'm like, I'm so tired of this singing style. I looked it up. Homegirl was 34 years old when she did this. And that's my problem. It comes off as very false to me, as like fraudulent. I just did that video where I did a crash course in music from 2022. And I listened to like 40 albums from this year within the span of like 3 weeks. And one of them was this album, I don't know, I'm sure some of you guys have heard it, called Wet Leg.
Yeah.
And it has very cool, upbeat, like Riot Girl type music. I love the music on there. But the lyrics, and this girl is singing like, I went to school and I got the big D. And, oh, you can suck my dick. And I got so much attitude. I'm like Riot Girl. She's 29 years old doing that. And I don't know what it is. Is it the industry? Is it women choosing to do this? Is it women feeling like they have to do this? Why are grown-ass, almost middle-aged women singing like they're 15 years old? I get it that rock bands do that.
She took a hiatus and had a kid. And then they
Right.
decided... And then
Right.
she decides to come back and do a record.
This does not sound like a woman who has a kid. This sounds like a 15-year-old. This is what I'm saying. Sing a song about having a kid. Sing a song about, oh my God, my son came home with a black eye. My husband ran off with his secretary. I don't know how to raise this. What am I supposed to do? I don't even have a brother. I turn to... Country does that. Blues does that. Rock does that. And I get why pop music, because it's skewed to younger people. But why does alternative type music feel like always have to do this pixie-ish type of... when the chick's like 34 years old? It comes off as very fake to me. Which I really, it's depressing to me. It's irritating and depressing at the same time because I'm like, lady. But when you originally told us that we had to listen to this album, you originally teased us with Debbie Gibson. Let me tell you something about Debbie Gibson. Okay? Debbie Gibson, when the Electric Youth came out in 1989, Debbie Gibson was 19 years old. Debbie Gibson was a teenager singing teenage songs for teenagers as a teenager. 2 years before that, she had an even bigger album called Out of the Blue with 4 top 10 singles. This is my rant. 4 top 10 singles on it. The album went triple platinum. She wrote every song on it. She wrote every song on Electric Blue. And all people do is make fun of her. She was a musical like a genius or something. 17 years old writing triple platinum albums.
Yeah.
And
That's why I
co-producing
like
them.
Johnny Crawford, because he was 17 years old singing teenage love songs,
But
and
she
they were
wrote them.
sincere.
And it's like everybody talks about Taylor Swift, but no one talks about Debbie Gibson. And it's like,
Yeah.
I would have much rather heard, I would literally rather have heard the Debbie Gibson Electric Blue album, because I would have given that I mean, I'm not going to listen, I don't sit around listening to Debbie Gibson a lot, but I have nothing but respect for Debbie Gibson. And I will give this 1.5 rainbows. Next. You know, the great thing about music is we can all disagree and have different opinions and all still be friends. What a boring world it would be if we all had the same opinion on music.
Yep,
Wow.
you just said that.
I wanted to reiterate it. Bookend my
Well,
review
thank you
with
for
that.
Keep saying
reiterating.
it.
Your opinion is wrong, but have it, and you're welcome to it. I think Harriet Wheeler, and I miss them. I'm saddened that it's been 25 years. We've heard nothing. They make music still. They don't release it. But yes, they wanted to raise their kids. Their kids are fucking like in their 20s now, so bring me some music. I think Harriet Wheeler is one of the greatest voices ever. And her age doesn't matter to me, whether she's 12, 29, or 70 when she did this record. I think it's angelic. I think it's beautiful. And this is probably not their best record, but it's their last one. And I just kind of, Blind, I didn't want to hear, like, that's their second record. I didn't want to hear you go off about Wild Horses,
Oh my God.
which is better than Rolling Stones. By the
Oh,
way.
now see, right there. Now I'm going to cry. Are you happy?
Go ahead and cry, because I do not. The Flying Burrito Brothers version is better than the Stones, but and I don't care for that one. Anyways, but we're not talking about that. I'm not trying to hurt feelings. I'm trying to. And then their first record, I almost went with that one, but this one seemed the most obtainable. But I love this record. I love Harriet Wheeler. I love David. Because Harriet and David, the guitarist, they are married. They have kids. Their kids are old now. Monochrome, which is the last song on the record, that a line from that, Static and Silence, is where the album title came from. That song is inspired by the landing on the moon and her sister getting up in the middle of the night and going downstairs and watching this miraculous experience that had never happened before. Summertime, I have such wonder. My friend Christy is probably a bigger fan of the Sundays than I am, and so maybe that's why this record is so special to me, because I remember her and I when it was the year I met her, and we worked at a hotel. And there was the Tower Records directly across the street from the hotel. And she's like, the Sundays have a new record. It's been 5 years. And we ran across the street and went and picked up this record. And we listened to it in her car, and we listened to it over, which actually we got the cassette tape, not record. But, and so maybe it's the memories of driving in her car. Maybe it's the memories of, going on Alki Beach in Seattle, and just all these wonderful memories I have with this record and with her. But I don't think there's a song I don't like on this. Summertime, obviously. Also, they talk about romantic Pisceans. It's another thing. Christy and I are both Pisces, so we always we have little hand moves. We have little movements that we do in the song, and a twinkle in her eye, and it's a special album between her and I just love it. Cry is probably my favorite song on this record. Also, Leave This City and Another Flavor. I adore this record, and yeah, I'm not going to talk much more, but I'm giving it 5 because it is the 5 Rainbow album to me. So.
You can give
You
it
have
6
that
if you
record.
want.
Like, what record pressing do you have?
This is because it's really hard to find an original. This is a
Yeah,
record.
they're like $500.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
it's
is
very
a record.
expensive.
This is a record store day release from 2017 that I was lucky enough to get my hands on. So, all of my Sunday, I have all 3 of them. All of them are, I think, record store day releases, and even those go for
They're-
hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Right.
Yeah,
I was
they're
reading
very-
that with this record, because they had the hiatus for so long, there was a lot of enthusiasm for the new release, but then it got very, very mixed reviews. So when I was reading that, I was wondering, gee, I wonder what their first albums were like.
As it did here. Got
The
very mixed
first-
reviews.
Well, but this actually, like,
Polarizing, you could say.
Summertime was their highest charting single ever in the UK. It was number 15, and it was actually number 10 on the US modern rock charts here, and number 13 on the adult, which that is their highest charting single in the US, and I believe the UK as well. And then Cry was the other single off of this record, and it was like, it didn't even chart in the US, but it did in the UK, but 44. Nah. I love
So there
Harry
it is.
Wheeler, and I am a champion of the Sundays. So, fuck all y'all for not liking. No, just kidding.
So where
We
does
all
it
have our
rank now in
opinion.
all our albums?
I respect Debbie Gibson.
I respect Debbie Gibson too. It is, but it's
Couldn't tell you a
cheesy
Debbie Gibson song.
80s teen pop, and so that part is funny. But and their songs, well,
She does like that. She's not apologizing. I mean, that is pop music, not pretending to be anything else written by a teenage. I just think it's incredible. How many, like, 8th graders got their heart broken and listened to Foolish Beat over and over again? I mean, written by somebody who,
it was
17
their
years
age,
old. That's
yeah.
pretty incredible.
I
How many
mean,
people
that
had their
was
first dance to Lost
what's
in
the
Your
total?
Eyes?
I
What's
mean,
the total?
obviously, I was.
I don't think we need to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm picking the record for next week.
What's the record for next week?
The net record for next week is going to be Elliott Smith's Figure 8.
Oh,
Because I've never heard anything by him.
Who is Elliott Smith? I've heard that
is he the guy who killed himself?
He supposedly.
He was murdered.
Oh yeah. Well,
What
we'll get into
Cobain
that
thing.
next week, won't we?
what was the name of the record again?
Figure 8.
Figure 8.
Yes.
Oh yeah, geez, we could do it.
And we're done.
Yeah, I guess so.
There
Good
we
seeing
go.
you guys.
What a note to end on.
We
Oh, we
could
do have a contest still going on, and time is
that's
running
right.
out if you want to enter it. For
We've
a
had some
$40
good-
Amazon gift card.
We've had some good entries.
Yeah.
That's really good one.
Some really good ones.
We inspired somebody to make their first Vinyl Community video.
That's so
That's right.
good.
So, yeah.
We should have mentioned that at the beginning when people are actually still watching.
I have purchased, either that or they skipped to the end to watch the bloodbath of the album review. The knockdown drag out.
No,
But yeah, I actually purchased an album based on the one of those videos. I won't say
Excellent.
which one.
Excellent.
But yeah, good times. Hasn't arrived yet. So Elliott Smith Figure 8 will be giving a review of that next week. We'll also be reviewing 1967. That'll be great.
67.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Yes.
Join us again next time. I'm Robert Fithen, along with...
Richard at Calvin Wazoo.
Craig's Vinyl Plethora.
And Mike from Hubtunes.
See you all again next time for another exciting episode.